Namaste, World Raiser. So today I want to talk about solitude and being alone, isolated on the spiritual journey. So as many of you know, it's been over a year now since me and my ex separated, and we were together for 8 years. Quite a bit of long distance at the beginning, but then we were together, full time in Canada, at the very beginning of this YouTube channel. So it was a heck of a roller coaster ride, being in that relationship and then now being out of it. So I always knew that I was ready for another burst of spiritual growth, because for me, the alone time, the isolation was always when I grew the most spiritually, when I dived into the teachings, the texts, the courses, and then of course the practice was just, what it's all about. So that's really been this past year for me. So like 6 months in Nepal, and then 5 months here now. Mostly practice. In Nepal it was a lot of pilgrimage. Here too I'm doing pilgrimages now to the temples and stuff. But a lot of isolation, right? A lot of just being alone and knowing that I need to be alone. So even when I was around people, because of course I made some friends and I interacted, quite a bit with others. Went on a pilgrimage to meet a friend's family in Nepal, and I was with him for about a month. But we butted heads a few times, because of course there's a lot of grief and sadness and suffering, that needed to be processed. So and it's part of the journey, right? So very much becoming a hermit leads to the possibility of rapid integration and spiritual practice on a more planned, intentional way, right? So when and it depends on what's coming up. So for me, I had a lot of stuff, a lot of baggage, and I'm looking back at my past. And so not playing the victim, but really owning it, because you're coming into this world with karma, and the things that are coming up are pointing out what you need to work on, right? And if you don't grasp that, like if you're not coming up from a spiritual, family and childhood, like the Gurukul system being lost, for example, I think is just devastating and tragic to all of society, right? Because people don't know how to be. We don't understand the spiritual nature of reality, as we're coming up. We don't know what's going on, and we don't understand others, and then that they have their delusions, and that we might not be raised in the best ways, but ultimately we're choosing these lifetimes from a spiritual level when we come into them. So you got to really, really keep in mind that intention is the most powerful thing to spiritual transformation. So to really set that up, and I did at a very, at the very beginning of my journey, I intended that if there was an ultimate truth knowable by human beings, then I intended to know it. And then that set me off on my journey. And then, and it keeps going. So even with the breakdown of my relationship, and then having to, let that go, was like, oh, okay, more to work on, which, if I reflect back on it, hindsight's 20/20, it's like, obviously I had more to work on, right? To begin with, because if I was healed, if I was whole, if I was at the higher level of consciousness, which I aspired to be at, then I actually never would have attracted, that partner into my life, right? So we're attracting the people into our lives that we're vibrating with on a energetic, conscious, spiritual level. So we had a very karmic relationship. Some people would, call it, some aspects of it, toxic. I don't want to use that term, because it was still a great blessing when you think about it, when you understand that everything is happening the way that it's meant to happen. If it wasn't meant to happen, something else would happen. And if that is what happened, then that would have been meant to happen. because we're in a divine play. God is in control of everything. And yeah, we can change the course of our destiny and our timeline by setting these intentions, right? So the intention for spiritual truth will lead to that. The intention to always be loving and forgiving. So that was another path and practice for me, was setting that intention to always practice forgiveness and unconditional love. And there's the challenge. And then that's going to create the test to bring that about. And yeah, the biggest test of all, right? So of course I had my part to play in it, and it happened how it needed to happen in order for it to transpire in certain ways. But at the same time, as an ego identified being, your ego is going to identify with the emotions and the hurt and the sadness and the loss and the anger and the frustration, right? So the ego really identifies it as, yeah, there was a betrayal there, right? So I was betrayed. Oh my gosh, right? What an incredibly, incredibly tragic story. But led me to this, led me here, opened up the avenue to, pilgrimage in Nepal, to practice deep spirituality once again, to get into yoga. I got a yoga teacher training certificate now, 200 hours in Pokhara. I took Reiki, so I'm a level 2 Reiki practitioner. And then here in Varanasi, went into 4 months deep meditation retreat. Yeah, I learned all the teachings of Dr. Joe Dispenza. I learned Kabbalah. I dove into the shadow work, the inner child healing, and I really, really undid a lot of stuff there. So I'm coming out of it, and that's why I'm doing these talks in the park, right? Just to regain my voice, because it's been a long time. And it's like, who am I going to be now? Because there's a transformation, right? So you really, really, really got to embrace the solitude and the alone times and go through it, especially as men. As young men, there's going to be hard times on the journey, and it's up to us to rise up. So yeah, we can rely on the deities, whichever one you're connected to, your Ishta Devata, but also the other, powerful masculine deities, Ganeshji, Hanumanji, and really tap into that divine essence and understand and pray, okay, like what's the lessons for me? Like what do I need to learn? And really analyze the past relationships. And it doesn't even have to be a romantic relationship. It could be like if you're fighting with a brother all the time, or your dad isn't treating you well, or giving you a hard time, or you don't feel connected to your mother, for example, because there's suffering, everywhere, right? There's breakdowns of family values all over the world. Most of the kids in today's day and age are raised by single mothers, right? So we're not having the interconnected family units that we used to have, right? So there's lessons for us, for the spiritual seekers on the path right now, the younger generation. You really got to see it, that in reality, there's only mind, and there's your consciousness and your awareness. And everything that can be experienced, everything that can be experienced within the mind and external to the mind through the senses, has to be experienced by an awareness, a consciousness. And that's ultimately who we are. So everything is an appearance to that mind. And you begin to identify with that more and more and more. And then you see that, this is very much like a game, a simulation, a matrix, the play, the divine play, right? The cosmic dance, whatever words you want to use to indicate that. And everything is a part of us, ultimately. So there is just you and Supreme Consciousness, you and God. Everything else is arising as tests, right? If we're more whole and integrated and really vibrating at the higher levels of consciousness, those tests are going to slowly become less and less and less as we respond appropriately to the things coming up in our lives. So coming out of the solitude with the practice, and then we got to step into action, and then we really got to be present in the world at a higher level of consciousness, and then react and respond appropriately to tests. And then that's going to continue to solidify our higher levels. And then we're going to be a beacon of love and light in the world. And we're going to be at a more higher state of contentment, peace, joy, happiness, more sustainably, more perpetually. But there's going to be less that deters us. So that's the importance and the opportunity, the supreme opportunity of being alone. So if you are alone right now, if you're going through solitude, if you've been outcast or shunned, or you feel hurt and you're withdrawing, maybe you have no friends, whatever the case may be, you got to embrace it. Because everything is good and everything is coming up to point out certain things. You got to hold that in mind, right? Everything is from God, is good, and arising to help me on my journey. And then we can pray for the capacity to comprehend why and what we need to work on and really take that on. Everything is your karma. There's no victims. So to really let that victim mindset go helps you to transcend, right? So, and to talk about it. So if you're going through anything, let me know down in the comments. And I can pray for you and be there for you, because ultimately, we're all in this individually together. So love you guys. Remember, do the work, raise yourself, raise the world. Peace.